get ready. Some sights are so strange it feels like people have never seen them before, and we have uncovered their stories. Watch this wild collection of the most incredible moments ever caught on camera. In this video, you will witness shocking, eerie, and unforgettable scenes from around the globe. From rare weather phenomena to bizarre natural surprises, these clips will make you question what is real. Do not blink. You will not believe what comes next. 75.
Whoa, check out this bioluminescent algae in the sand.
The blue glow in the water comes from bioluminescence, a natural light produced by tiny sea creatures. Single-celled plankton called dinoflagellates emit a bright blue flash when the water is moved or disturbed. You can see this glow in some coastal areas around the world when water conditions and plankton levels are right. 74. A large group of sea lions slid and tumbled down a dirt slope into the ocean near Monterey, California. They slipped together, kicked up dust, and created a loud, chaotic avalanche as they crashed into the water. 73. A sudden, violent mudslide swept onto a road in the village of Grugny in Chamoisson, high in the Swiss Alps, after heavy storms in August 2018. An overfilled mountain stream broke its banks and sent a fast, explosive wall of dark mud and debris across the streets. 72. A massive volcanic eruption sends thick, layered ash billowing high into the atmosphere. Distinct, cauliflower-like plumes mark successive explosive pulses that pierce the sky. Captured from above, the dramatic footage highlights the awe-inspiring power of volcanic activity. 71. The massive underwater volcanic eruption in Tonga sent a towering cloud of white steam and ash high above the ocean, near a boat's bow. It also triggered tsunamis around the world and blasted a shockwave and water vapor deep into the atmosphere. 70. Massive amounts of sea foam were driven onto land by powerful storm winds and waves. Strong winds and rough seas churn organic matter in the ocean, such as decaying algae and plankton, producing persistent bubbles that blow ashore. This foam can trap pollutants or bacteria from the sea, so avoid touching it or breathing it in closely. 69. This is an active mud eruption at the Lipad Mud Volcano in Taban Wildlife Reserve, Sabah, Malaysia. Unlike typical volcanoes that erupt hot lava, this mud volcano is driven by pressurized gases, such as methane, and water mixing with fine underground sediments. The resulting slurry is forced upward through a weak spot in the ground, causing the mud to erupt. 68. Man-made waves at RIF 010 in Rotterdam, Netherlands, break through a layer of ice that formed during a freeze. Sharp, frozen shards crack and surge forward, moving like a real ocean wave. 67. The Kisner Bridge on Highway 107 in Afton, Tennessee, suddenly collapsed into the Nolichucky River on September 27, 2024. Heavy floodwaters from the remains of Hurricane Helene rushed through the area. The bridge buckled, broke apart, and was carried away by the fast, churning water. 66. A powerful, bright bolt of lightning strikes a ridge beneath dark, stormy skies. The flash cuts through the horizon, creating a dramatic display of nature's raw power. 65. A mother sea otter floats on her back, holding and cuddling her tiny, fluffy newborn pup on her chest. Mother sea otters spend hours grooming, feeding, and resting with their pups on their bellies to keep them safe and dry. 64. The distinct optical illusion of a sharp advancing line of raindrops striking the surface of a calm lake. 63. A massive, terrifying avalanche races down the mountain with unstoppable speed. The dense white wall of snow obliterates everything in its path, swallowing trees and terrain. This footage captures nature's raw, destructive power and the extreme danger of winter slopes. 62. The reverse waterfall is in Chile's Mall region, near San Clemente on the road to Paso Pehuenche. Strong mountain winds blow upward and catch the falling water. The wind pushes the water back up, making the waterfall appear to flow upward into the sky. 61. A dust devil, sometimes called a hay devil or straw-nado, forms when the ground heats quickly during the day. This creates a small, spinning column of air that lifts cut hay and other debris from a field. Unlike tornadoes, dust devils begin at the surface and spin upward on clear, hot days, and they are usually harmless. 60. This dramatic footage shows deep blue ice fissures cutting through the frozen surface of Lake Baikal. The crystal-clear layers and sharp fractures reveal the raw, powerful forces of nature at work in Siberia's winter wilderness. 59. Glacier calving is a dramatic event in which a tall wall of bright blue ice breaks away and falls into the water. The impact sends up a huge cloud of white spray and creates large waves. It occurs when sections of a glacier or ice shelf detach because of movement, pressure, and warming. 58. A bright red lava fountain rises from a vent at Kilauea's summit in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. The glowing eruption is fierce, yet the people watching nearby remain calm, giving the scene a spellbinding quality. 57. Suspended at the edge of danger, a mother's love refuses to let go. With straining muscles and an unbreakable bond, she pulls her world back from the brink. In that breathless moment, pure instinct shows that no rescue is too perilous for her child.
Look at her go!
Wow.
56. A large section of a sandstone cliff in Zion National Park, Utah, suddenly collapsed, sending a massive cloud of dust and falling rock near areas such as Cable Mountain and Weeping Rock. Rockfalls like this occur naturally and frequently in steep canyons, continually reshaping the landscape. 55. The Spouting Horn blowhole in Depot Bay, Oregon, shoots ocean water into the air when waves force water through a hole in the rock. Seawater and trapped air are pushed through a volcanic sea cave and expelled from the blowhole. The water spouts reach their highest points at high tide and during large winter swells. 54. A massive coastal carpet python pushes its heavy, scaly head through the gap beneath the door. The people inside stand frozen with fear as the top predator slides forward, only inches from entering the room. One more strong push could turn a quiet evening into a desperate fight for survival inside the house.
Python, but yeah, definitely not one you want inside your house, is it? Not this size. Not if you don't like snakes anyway.
53. A frozen, wave-like ripple covers the surface of Dream Lake in Rocky Mountain National Park in Colorado. Wind-shaped water turned instantly into smooth, glassy ice. Against the park's snow-covered peaks, the clear ice reveals a beautiful frozen world beneath the surface. 52. Nature unleashes its full force as the Wailuku River becomes a raging, muddy torrent during an extreme, tropical flash flood. The dramatic scene captures the raw, unpredictable power of Hawaii's elements as they overwhelm a normally scenic landscape. 51. These are tiny baby seahorses clinging to a thin plant stem or seagrass. Young seahorses cannot swim well and tire quickly, so they hold onto plants and bits of debris to stay safe. 50. Rainbows are actually complete circles, but from the ground, we usually see only an arc because the Earth blocks the lower half. When you fly high in a plane or helicopter and the sun and water droplets are positioned correctly, the full circle can become visible. 49. A cloud iridescence, also known as an iridescent or rainbow cloud, is a rare phenomenon where soft pastel colors appear along the edge of a cumulus or pileus cloud. It occurs when sunlight bends through tiny ice crystals, creating a beautiful, shimmering pastel halo in the sky. 48. A person walks into a narrow, bright blue ice canyon carved from the Vatnajökull glacier in Iceland. The glacier's old, dense ice glows softly from within the tight crevasse. This scene reveals how vast and ever-changing Iceland's frozen landscapes can be. 47. Here another massive iceberg unexpectedly flipped in Argentina's Los Glaciares National Park, leaving boat tourists completely awestruck. The dramatic rollover happened when melting shifted the frozen giant's center of gravity, forcing it to violently rotate until it reached a new equilibrium. 46. A line of climbing perch defies aquatic limits as it crawls in single file across dry land. Using strong gills and fins, these fish move over roads to find new sources of fresh water. 45. A massive morning glory spillway forms a mesmerizing vortex as it draws in rushing floodwaters like a giant drain. Seeing the turbulent water plunge into the vertical abyss highlights the immense scale of flood control systems at work. 44. This footage shows a massive lion's mane jellyfish nearly 5 feet wide washed ashore at Willard Beach. The stunning, otherworldly creature is the largest species of jellyfish in the world and has thousands of flowing tentacles. 43. The dramatic footage reveals the scale of commercial purse seine fishing. Thousands of silvery fish press tightly together in a dense school while a fishing boat hauls them aboard. A vast, shimmering blanket of fish covers the ocean's surface. 42. A cluster of camouflaged brown wings suddenly parts to reveal a dazzling burst of electric, iridescent blue. The blue morpho butterflies gather on a mossy riverside rock to soak up essential minerals and moisture. 41. This stunning footage shows heavy rain mixing with the vibrant, iron-rich crimson soil of Iran's Hormuz Island. The sudden downpour washed large amounts of hematite into the sea, instantly turning the shoreline a dramatic blood red. Although viral social media posts shocked viewers by calling it blood rain, the phenomenon is completely natural and non-toxic. 40. A ruptured underwater gas pipeline created a shocking eye of fire in the Gulf of Mexico on July 3, 2021. Bright orange flames boiled to the ocean surface just meters from a Pemex offshore oil platform. Firefighting boats battled the dramatic blaze for more than 5 hours, using water and nitrogen until it was safely extinguished. 39. A rare biological phenomenon called an egg-in-egg or counter-peristalsis contraction occurs when a fully formed egg is pushed back up into the hen's oviduct because of stress or a muscle spasm. A second egg then develops around the first one. This uncommon event usually affects young or stressed hens. 38. The well-known lava fire hose from Kilauea volcano pours straight into the Pacific at the Kamakuna Ocean Entry in Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. A non-stop, high-pressure stream of bright red molten lava shoots from a lava tube on a cliff and falls into the cold ocean. When the roughly 1,100 degrees Celsius lava meets seawater, it triggers powerful steam explosions that send up huge plumes of steam, boiling water, and sharp fragments of volcanic glass. 37. Fresh meat twitches because residual cellular energy and active nerve endings keep firing after slaughter. Salt, touch, or changes in temperature can trigger the surviving muscle fibers to contract, causing this startling reaction. 35. A fluffy patch of white foam on the ground, sometimes mistakenly called a fallen cloud, is not actually a cloud. Clouds can't fall because rising warm air and currents keep them aloft in the sky. 34. A massive landslide collapses an excavation site and sends a dangerous wave of mud and debris roaring toward heavy machinery. The rushing water and shifting earth cause immediate damage to equipment and create a severe risk for operators in the area. 33. A view from above shows nature tearing open the frozen lake's wide blue surface. Thick sheets of ice pull apart, exposing a deep, jagged crack filled with crushed white shards. The smooth, old ice and the violent new break create a powerful sense of danger and loneliness. 32. A snowboarder drops into a breathtaking, powder-filled mountain basin. The ultra-wide lens perfectly captures the dramatic high alpine descent. Vibrant blue skies contrast beautifully with the snow and dark pines. 31. Known as the Procesión del Nopal, local worshippers carry large, thorny cactus pads or whole plants on their bare backs during Holy Week as an intense act of penance and devotion. People perform this painful ritual to keep a promise or fulfill a vow. 30. This striking footage shows a busy trail of leafcutter ants moving together across the forest floor. Each small worker carries a bright green piece of leaf, holding loads many times heavier than itself. Their steady march reveals a well-organized colony working together to feed the fungus gardens underground. 29. This astonishing footage shows a group of buff-tip moths perfectly mimicking broken birch twigs as they rest on a human hand. Their silvery gray bodies and buff yellow tips create an almost flawless illusion of snapped wood, demonstrating one of nature's most remarkable examples of evolutionary camouflage. 28. A rare glimpse into Earth's depths shows a natural oil seep bubbling violently through dry soil. This dramatic surface eruption captures underground petroleum and gases breaking through geological fissures. 27. Small, strange flames rose from a hot concrete yard in Son La, Vietnam. Intense sunlight heated the ground to about 150 degrees Celsius. Officials believe the flames were caused by reactive chemicals trapped inside the concrete. 26. A lone free diver moves gracefully beneath a massive, swirling vortex of sardines. A shifting wall of millions of synchronized fish forms a dramatic, living canopy overhead. Sunlight filters through the dense formation, turning the deep blue ocean into a cinematic arena. 25. These sea arthropods are like living fossils. They have existed for more than 445 million years, long before the dinosaurs. Their blood appears bright blue because it carries oxygen with copper-based hemocyanin instead of iron-based hemoglobin. In spring and summer, many of them crawl onto beaches at high tide to mate and lay eggs in the sand, often timing this with the full moon or the new moon. 24. A massive dust storm completely blocked out the sun, turning the afternoon sky an ominous blood red over Barellan, Australia. High winds lifted thousands of tons of topsoil and plunged local neighborhoods into sudden, eerie darkness. The extreme weather event caused widespread power outages and created dangerous, near-zero visibility for residents across the region. 23. A powerful tornado carved a path through rural Owen County, Kentucky, while a jagged bolt of lightning struck nearby. The dramatic footage shows the destructive severe weather outbreak that hit the region on July 21st, 2026. The storm prompted widespread emergency warnings as spinning funnel clouds and torrential downpours left a trail of damage. 22. This video shows someone touching a wet, liquid-looking layer of sand on top of the desert. It demonstrates soil liquefaction, when water causes loose sand to behave like a fluid. This usually occurs in arid areas after a rare heavy rain or a sudden desert flash flood. 21. This video shows a dramatic scientific phenomenon in which supercooled water freezes instantly when it strikes desert sand. The liquid has been cooled below its freezing point without solidifying, and the sudden impact causes immediate crystallization. The rapid chain reaction builds a rising column of ice, seemingly out of thin air, defying typical expectations of how water behaves. 20. A chubby raccoon somehow wriggled its rear end into a small hole in the ceiling and got hilariously stuck. A homeowner set up a stepladder nearby as a rescue bridge. the clever little bandit grabbed the top rung, shimmied and wiggled, and dropped down to freedom. 19. A strong dog displays incredible agility as it leaps to grab a hanging rope. The dramatic midair move reveals how fit and powerful the dog is. This striking image emphasizes its impressive ability to jump straight up. 18. A terrifying tsunami-like storm surge from Cyclone Harry completely engulfs an Italian street, forcing residents to run for their lives. The immense power of the Ionian Sea drives massive walls of water and thick sea foam deep into coastal town centers. 17. Thick compressed mud and clay erupt from an outdoor spigot instead of water. High water pressure pushes the dense sludge out in a bizarre, continuous flow. The strange phenomenon is caused by severe sediment buildup inside the underground pipes. 16. This dramatic footage shows a zombie snail completely controlled by a leucochloridium parasite. Bright, flashing brood sacs inside its swollen eye stalks pulse rapidly to mimic appetizing caterpillars. Driven into the open by the parasite, the helpless snail is exposed on purpose to attract predatory birds. 15. Debris from a strong storm, a tornado that hit Denair, California on November 15, 2015. 14. When temperatures fall far below freezing, typically below 14 degrees Fahrenheit, minus 10 degrees Celsius, the thin liquid film of a soap bubble cools and solidifies so quickly that ice crystals form and spread across its surface before the bubble can burst. 13. A fast-moving stream of molten lava swept down the Geldingadalur Valley during the March 29, 2021 eruption at Fagradalsfjall on Iceland's Reykjanes Peninsula. Dramatic footage shows photographers scrambling to grab their gear as the lava front sets the ground ablaze. The scene is a stark reminder that volcanic flows can move unexpectedly fast and become deadly, and why keeping a safe distance is essential. 12. A person holds a long, transparent, jelly-like chain of sea salps. Salps look like small barrels and drift in the ocean. Although the chain resembles a single strange spine or worm, it is actually many tiny, clear animals joined together. They may look like jellyfish, but salps are not closely related to them. Salps belong to a group called Tunicata and are more closely related to animals with backbones. 11. Green leaves and branches become encased in clear ice, forming tube-like coverings. This usually happens during freezing rain or when people run sprinklers to protect plants from frost. As water freezes around the plant, it can sometimes help keep the plant warmer, but if too much ice accumulates, branches may break under the weight. 10. A large group of land crustaceans called slater bugs emerges and moves across the ground. These mass movements usually follow heavy rains that flood their underground burrows, or occur during seasonal migrations when the bugs search for drier places or new food. 9. A massive herd of elk carves a powerful, winding path through a vast, pristine blanket of winter snow. Seen from above, their synchronized movement reveals the majestic scale of large game migration. The dramatic aerial view highlights the harsh beauty of nature and the animals' relentless survival instincts. 8. Strong winds hurl thick sand across the land beneath dark, stormy skies. Blowing dust reduces visibility and rapidly alters the landscape. This dramatic footage captures a desert storm ripping over the ridges. 7. A dramatic evening sky held bright purple and lavender clouds above the dark outlines of treetops. This vivid violet often appears during major storms or at sunset, when low sunlight scatters through thick, wet clouds. 6. A massive avalanche crashes into the concrete pillars at the entrance of a mountain road tunnel in Switzerland. The footage shows a thick wall of snow smashing into the tunnel opening in the Valle Maggia region. 5. Tourists on traditional Trajanera boats felt the canals in Xochimilco, Mexico City, shake and the water churn during the powerful 7.1 magnitude earthquake on September 19, 2017. The The narrow channels produced large, frightening waves, but none of the boats capsized, and there were no serious injuries on the water. 4. A rare waterspout formed over the sea off Cassiope, Corfu, Greece. The spinning column of air reached the water and stirred the surface, creating a hollow, circular spray that looked like a huge hole or whirlpool. 3. This dramatic footage shows a rare Aragoke Ginran koi gliding through the water with dragon-like elegance. Oversized metallic gold scales run down its spine, gleaming like polished armor. The contrast between its dark body and shimmering gold creates a hypnotic visual display. 2. This video shows a huge tree trunk appearing to float in the air. The lower part of the trunk has rotted away or been removed, so the top of the tree rests only on its thick, sturdy roots tied to nearby supports. Even without a normal base, the tree is still alive and growing because those raised roots can absorb water and nutrients. 1. A viral video shows a rare Ankole Watusi bull with 3 massive sweeping horns instead of the usual 2. This striking feature results from a genetic variation called the polycerate condition. Standing calmly in an East African field, the majestic animal mesmerizes viewers worldwide with its prehistoric appearance.